Guess everybody did good. All right, here are the questions from the people in their underwear. Anthony, which Democratic presidential candidate should Trump fear the most?
So I'm probably a little different from Governor McAuliffe. I would be going younger with somebody like Senator Harris or Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And I think that contrast, okay, and the thing I tried to say last time we were on the show, go out there and speak to the people that Trump won last time. Don't call them deplorable or white nationalists. Go out there and understand what's wrong with their economic situation. And boy, let me tell you something, that would be very powerful. If the Democrats, in my opinion, always do better when they go with somebody below the age of 50.
Well,
Barack Obama, John Kennedy, Bill Clinton back in the 90s.
Okay.
That would be me. Go for somebody younger.
Catherine, what's your reaction to Beto saying what the fuck to the press in regards to their coverage of Trump's racism?
I think that was a perfectly valid response, frankly. I mean, like I said, I think that was in response to the question, do you think Trump is a white supremacist or a white nationalist or something like that? And Beto said, like, yes, obviously. And it's not just because of stuff he said this week, and it's not just because he refused to rent to black tenants in the 70s. There was also him saying that the Central Park Five should be executed and still refusing to back down from that, birtherism, you know, Muslim ban, all that other stuff.
Okay.
So, long history of this.
Richard Engel, why is Trump harsh on China except when it comes to the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong? Have you been there lately? That's pretty nasty, I see on the news.
It's very troubling. I think it doesn't bother him. He's made it quite clear that human rights groups and protesters when they come out on the streets, that's not a priority for him. And I think he respects people who have power and use power. And the reason I'm worried about what's going on in Hong Kong, there is a very high cost to failure. So these people have come out on the streets. If they don't succeed and don't succeed in establishing the rights and the laws that they're pushing for, they could pay a very, very high price.
Like a Tiananmen Square.
Like a Tiananmen Square.
Well, Trump praised the Chinese response to Tiananmen Square, as you may recall.
He's not hard to get on your side if you just say he's quite handsome. Governor Terry, as someone who turned a red state blue, do you think Democrats have a real shot at Texas in 2020?
Yes, I do. I think...
That would be the whole ballgame, right?
Well, if you look at the polls today, I mean, listen, the big issue is who has the best chance of defeating Trump. Right now, it's Biden. Right now in the polling data, it can change. We got 6 months to go before the primaries start. But today, Biden poll in Ohio. He beats Trump by 8 points in Ohio. He wins Georgia. He wins North Carolina. And he wins Texas today against Donald Trump. So we got a great opportunity, I think.
That's a long time from an election.
It's got a long time, but, you know, Trump's going to continue to do the insanity that he does every single day. He can't get over 42%. He's alienated most of America. He's got his base. And I'm just shocked he's coming out and doing all these things against Elijah Cummings, the squad. I guess he figures there are all these neo-Nazis and white supremacists under rocks that weren't motivated in 2016, and they're going to come out in 2020. He has alienated non-college educated white women. They walk from him. We have a huge opportunity now in the White House.
I think you just did what Hillary did last time when she said deplorable. It sounded to some people like you called everyone who voted for him Nazis under rocks. I'm just saying.
It's a big block of ours.
But that is not what it sounded like you were saying. I mean,
neo-Nazis are bad.
I know, but then every person who voted for Trump is not a neo-Nazi under a rock, right?
No, but why is he doing this? He's trying to spur a new base for him?
No.
I mean, who's he talking to when he attacks Elijah Cummings, calls Baltimore rat-infested?
I understand.
Go home to your own country.
Get it.
These women were born in this country.
Trump bad, you good.
Send him home.
You see why I only watch Brian Williams? Okay. Tom, your book is called The Death of Expertise. What is the solution? Wow. In 30 seconds, Tom, what is the...
I think the problem is the problem with the death of expertise is that, it's rooted in narcissism. It's not that people need more education.
You mean not just his, everybody?
No, everybody.
Right.
I mean, we're a narcissist.
He's not the only narcissist in this country. That is true.
Everyone does it to each other. People will walk up to you and say, "Oh, you're a stand-up comedian? I have some thoughts on timing."
Right. No, it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
a governor, here's what you should do about the budget.
Yeah.
People do that because it feels empowering and it makes them feel important. And I think we're just going to have to wait for that bubble to burst where we have to start listening to each other because we're heading for disaster. And I think it could be that recession or a war. The three things I worry about are pandemic, a recession, or a war. And any one of those things, people are going to start listening to doctors, economists, and generals again.
Except, to play devil's advocate, we had a great recession. And what happened? People stopped trusting economists, right? There are a lot of economists who don't focus on financial markets, but who, in fact, said that we're quite worried about, you know...
I don't think people stopped trusting economists.
you
I think
kidding?
they
They
stopped trusting
bankers.
capitalists. Yes.
Bankers.
There was
Yes,
a whole documentary about it.
Okay, well, maybe. I don't know if people ever had an idea in their mind about economists one way or the other to begin with.
Right. They don't-
Maybe the
most people
people you hang out
They
with.
think-
But I'm talking about the regular rank and file. I think they blamed banksters.
But
I think there
Tom
was
did
a
a good
lot
job
of
in his book.
blowback against expertise, economic expertise in particular.
Well, because they say the bankers were experts and they told me I could afford it. No, the banker is an expert the same way that a Lexus salesman is a Lexus expert who says, you can afford this car.
Right.
That's different than an economist saying, you know, running up your household debt to massive levels on a house, you know, that you shouldn't have bought in the first place is a bad idea. And they say, oh, those guys don't know
But there was a
anything.
lot of pushback against the Fed, for example.
Also true.
And the
Absolutely.
Fed made mistakes, but the Fed
The
also
experts let
bailed
us
our
down.
asses out.
The
So-
experts let us down.
They did.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think Tom points that out in his book. His book is great, but what happened was the experts, the establishment
Not
politicians...
all experts. Some economists said we're going off a cliff and we're
Yeah.
inflating the bubble and
the
lots of...
collective society of experts, again, lower middle class people feel that the establishment
Yes.
politicians abandoned them, and that's why you've had this.
But politicians and
bad
experts
feeling.
are not the same people.
Yes.
And this is the other problem.
Right.
I was an
understand that,
advisor
but
to
I'm-
a senator.
But I'm saying
right?
that's
was a-
why they feel that way, though.
I was a senior advisor to a U.S. senator. Sometimes he took my advice. Sometimes he threw me out of his office. The idea that while the elites, I mean, look, in the Senate, me and the senator, I was the expert. He was the elite. He got to vote. I was just the guy who came. I mean, you have people who advise you all day, Governor, right?
Yep.
You know, in the end, it's your
Gotta make a
decision.
decision, yep.
And
Who
so
was
I
the
think,
senator you're talking about?
The late John Hines of Pennsylvania,
Oh, okay.
good man.
The ketchup guy.
the ketchup guy, the ketchup baron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, Trump ran on draining the swamp, which I think to most people meant get rid of the, you know, palm greasing executives and the lobbyists and the corrupt officials and all of those other people who were getting rich off of government. And instead, what it has turned out to mean is let's pardon Rod Blagojevich and purge all of the scientists, which is exactly what Trump either has said he's considered doing or is actually doing.
That piece you guys had today about purging the experts, that is a huge issue that's going on right now in the federal government. Basically, the Republicans have decided that anybody who knows stuff has to leave.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what's happening because they don't
Well,
want
we hope they'll come here and join our panel. Thank you very much, everybody.